A flower produces a scent that defines its entire presence to the world, yet it remains completely unaware of its own fragrance. It is the source of the beauty, but it exists in a vacuum where it cannot experience it. This creates a specific kind of isolation. While the world gathers around it to breathe in that sweetness, the flower itself remains in a state where it gives everything away and weeps in private. We tend to make a mistake when we encounter people who radiate this same kind of light. We assume that because they provide a sense of ease to others, they must possess a surplus of it within themselves. But the evidence suggests a specific trade is happening. To see a smile on one person's face is to see the exact moment the person who sparked it surrenders a piece of their own stillness. The person receiving the joy focuses entirely on the glow. They rarely notice the depletion occurring in the giver, because the very act of giving joy masks the cost of producing it. Creating happiness isn't a byproduct of having too much of it. It's an active choice to transfer your own internal resources to someone else until you are empty. This depletion often manifests in a confusing way. We often see these individuals projecting a stiff, impenetrable pride to the world, a kind of social arrogance that keeps people at a distance. Yet this is the same person who, away from the public eye, is found washing the feet of others. They oscillate between an external mask of superiority and an internal reality of constant service. The arrogance serves a purpose. When someone is emotionally overextended, a prideful exterior acts as a necessary barrier. It is the only way to protect what little remains of their internal state while they continue to serve those around them. In this light, public pride and private humility are not contradictions. They are the two tools required to survive the demands of constant giving. This process of giving and serving reflects a broader mechanic of how we find meaning. Initially, our experiences are like dust, scattered, raw, and without a defined shape. A better comparison is raw milk. It contains everything necessary to create something valuable, but it requires a physical change, a churning to reach that state. The refinement, the butter, doesn't just appear. It requires deliberate friction. You have to put the raw material under pressure to separate the essence from the liquid. In human life, that friction comes from the weight of daily responsibilities and the exhaustion of service. These aren't just obstacles, they are the inputs for the churn. The result of this pressure is the extraction of wisdom and resilience. It is the butter that remains once the raw experience has been processed. Meaning isn't something you find lying around. It's something manufactured through the processing of your own difficulties. As this cycle continues over years, the cumulative cost begins to settle. The churning and the giving eventually leave behind a weight that cannot be distributed. This is the state of the Madhukar, the honeybee. It is the archetype of the one who gathers sweetness from the world, not to keep it, but to provide for everyone else. The honeybee eventually reaches a point where the sweetness has been given away, but the exertion of the journey remains. It carries the weight of that entire life alone. Those who benefited from the joy cannot help with the load. They only know the sweetness of the honey. They have no frame of reference for the effort required to gather it. It brings us back to the flower. Its loneliness isn't a flaw in its design. It is the inevitable result of existing as something that gives its best parts to the wind. Purpose isn't found by avoiding these heavy loads. It's found by building the strength to carry them in silence while still choosing to offer your fragrance to the world.